not today, baby. Yeah. Here's the truth about Van Gogh, and nothing but the truth. Today we are going to be learning all about Van Gogh. Or Gogh. However you pronounce it. Some people pronounce it like Van Gogh, okay? We're going to be talking about Van Gogh today. One of my favorite artists, believe it or not. And I just like his story that he had. Because, you know, everyone's life is a story in my aspect. And his whole story about, like, how he became the person that he became. Even after his death. Like, well, that's really when most of it happened, after his death. Which is sad. Okay. But I just love him. I just love him altogether as an artist. His work is phenomenal. It honestly is. And I personally did a version of the Starry Night. I probably will insert a clip right now of me actually finishing it. Yeah, he's definitely one of my favorite artists, and there's a lot of myths and like crazy stuff people say about him, so I'm just gonna debunk all that today. I have on my little handy dandy paper because I physically write everything out. I am old school, even though I'm not, but mentally I am. So let's get with it. Okay, so Van Gogh was born in March 1850 and he died 1890. Yeah, 1890 in July. The whole story about him was the whole time that he was alive, he didn't sell not one painting. Well, I lied. Right before, like 5 months before his passing, he sold one painting, and it wasn't even for what I would say it was worth. But apparently it was just for a little of nothing that he sold his first painting.
These bulbs are just getting outrageous.
That he sold his first painting. And I'm just like, that's so crazy, because this dude is in museums. Like, he has his own museum. His own museum. Like, we learned about him. I'm pretty sure everyone has learned about him in elementary school, middle school, high school, something. Like my art class, when I was in high school, we had to paint this. And that's when I found out about him and his work and everything. But I'm just like, that's so crazy, because back then, they was really sleeping on my dude. Like, they was big sleeping. That's the crazy thing. But yeah, so in less than 10 years, because Van Gogh was not always a painter, okay? He didn't start like his interest in art and stuff until he started working in the arts craft store, like I think when he was in high school. And that's when he became to like get infatuated with, you know, the art realm and like painting and things like that. But before that, he had never painted anything. So in, I guess, in 10-year frame, he painted over 900 paintings, guys.
900 paintings
in 10 years. Like, so if we're breaking it down and doing the math, okay, there's 365 days in a year. So if you're painting a painting every year, I mean once a, oh, okay.
Stop it. Get some help.
Okay, he painted a lot, okay? He painted a lot in that time frame, and wow. Like, that's all I can say is wow. Because I'm over here like, dude, you know, at that rate, that must be you're eating and breathing and sleeping painting. But hey, all his hard work worked out. I'm just sad that he wasn't here to see any of it. Yeah. And then when he was painting and stuff like that, he used to use like farmers and just like peasants, and then just whoever he could find that was willing to sit there and let him basically paint them or draw them, because he started off sketching at first and then he got into painting, and that's where, you know, all the magic happened. But the thing is, Van Gogh was not the wealth, okay, he was poor, so people were not just willing to just sit there and let this man paint him, because he was not going to give them any type of compensation and money. Like, he barely was able to give them anything, like, and most of the times he didn't. So it was really hard for him to find people. So then he started just doing landscapes and like different things, you know, that he didn't need people for. So I know there's a lot of hoopla about Van Gogh and his ear. Oh my God, like, isn't he the artist who like painted, I mean isn't he the artist who like cut off his ear and like yeah, he is the artist that cut off his ear, okay, but he didn't cut off the whole thing. Like, it's not like the whole ear was gone, okay? He cut off just a snippet of the lobe itself, not the whole, you know, not the whole thing, but he cut off just like a little, you know. And rumor has it that he put it into an envelope and gave it to a prostitute that he was seeing during that time. And yeah, of course she started screaming and you know, because Van Gogh was always like, people were not on his side at all. Like, I'm gonna say that. Yes, it does seem like he had a lot of mental issues going on, and I just feel like he didn't have the proper guidance and, you know, support for him to really prosper and to the artist that he could have been, man. I mean, he's a great, he's went down in history. Like, he's definitely one of the best artists that we have had on this earth. But do you think, like, just think about this for a second. If Van Gogh was alive, because I think he died at 31 or 32, no, I lied. Okay, he died in his 30s, that's all I know. Like, if he was born in, okay, we're not gonna do the math because, okay, I don't know, we're not gonna do the math. All I know is, if he was able to live for as long as he should have been, okay, without someone surprisingly either committing, like taking his own life, or, you know, that type of thing, he would have been great. Okay, just think of the magnitude that this guy could have been on right now. Like, I mean, he wouldn't have been alive right now, but during that time, like, if he would have made it a little bit further, because about 5 months prior to his death, he started taking like art classes and things like that. He was really getting into it. So up until then, he was all self-taught. So it's like, that makes you think, if he was just now taking classes and he had already done these and some other things like before he even had taken those classes, dude, this dude would have been on a whole nother level, like a whole nother level. But everything happens for a reason, so who knows. But yeah, the whole thing about him cutting his ear off though, that happened with one of the guys that he was like staying with at the time when he was in Paris. They got into like a little argument or something like that. His name was Paul Gogh. I think that's how you pronounce it, Paul Gogh or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, that's who he was like living with at the time in Paris. Got into a little argument with him, and he decided, you know what, I don't want to ear anymore, so we're just gonna go ahead and cut it off. And I'm gonna give it to one of my prostitute friends. Yeah, she's gonna love it. She might just attach it to her ear, I don't know, like she might hang up on the wall or something, you know. That's just, I guess that's just what's his mind said at the time, I don't know. But yeah, so he ended up doing that, and she freaked out. Now about his whole death, people are going like all kind of different ways, talking about, oh, it was a suicide, he was just mentally ill, and you know, something happened, he was just in a bad state, had a breakdown, and just decided to take his own life with a gun to his stomach, okay, or somewhere in his like lower region, okay. And something about that just does not sit right with me, because I'm just like, okay, I've done a lot of research about the death of Van Gogh, and
wait a minute, who are you?
First of all, number one, he had a lot of, like, he was a person that well, I guess everyone back then wrote letters, okay, and he wrote a lot of letters to, you know, his family and his brother in particular. And you know, that's not nothing he necessarily wanted people to see, and he just left those all over his desk in his apartment. He didn't bring none of his, first of all, the incident of his death happened in a field. None of his painting supplies were out there, none of his, like, I just feel like if it was a suicide, that there would have at least been notes that he written, you know, since he was a type of person that like wrote notes to people, like, you know, that there would have been something, you know, like that left behind. I feel like he would have had a last painting or something, or would have been painting, you know, like something around that, if that was really the plan. Me personally, I think since the people in the town were like really skeptical about him, and like they even did a petition to put him locked away in an asylum, which he was in an asylum about 4 months prior to his death, but then he was released. So that he actually, in an asylum, he painted a Starry Night in there. He looked out the window and this is what he saw. And actually none of this was there. Like, the person that was in the asylum said none of this was there, but just the mental state he was in, that's what he saw. So I don't know, I just think that's cool, like how he was able to depict and do that. Anyway, but the whole thing about his death though, I personally think someone in the town may have just taken him out, because especially since he was released from the asylum, the mental institute, then I definitely think, because that's where everyone wanted him. And it's so funny to me how as soon as he's released, he has a suicide, like he commits suicide or whatever. I just think it's all baloney. And the fact that one more factor about that is Van Gogh used a gun, okay? One, where is he gonna get this gun from? Okay, because no one in the town trusts him with a gun, okay? 2, he doesn't have the money to go ahead and purchase a gun. 3, if he would have shot himself in the stomach, they said that the bullet did not exit his body. If you're shooting yourself, don't you think the impact from the actual bullet, the bullet would have left his body in an instant? Like, and then it says that once he was shot, he crawled back to somewhere and finished a job or something, like did it again or something. I don't know, but he didn't die there. I know he didn't die in the place that he shot himself up. Apparently he walked back to somewhere, and that's where he was pronounced you know, dead or whatever. But I think this whole thing is just a big conspiracy theory, because everyone's just stuck on the fact like, oh, Vincent was a madman, he took his life. No, I just don't feel that way. I really don't. I feel like some hateful, just some soul decided I want to take another person's life, and it was his. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that was it of this video. Again, I love Vincent van Gogh. I'm a painter myself, if y'all didn't know that by now. Yeah, so if y'all would like to see more of my work, I can do more things like this. I can do paintings inspired by artists that inspire me, I guess. Would y'all be down for that? I don't know. I don't know if y'all want to see more of this side of me or not. But if you do, just comment what y'all want to see, man. Engage with me, okay? I'm trying to give y'all some good content, but y'all have to work with me, okay? It was fun doing this painting. It was fun doing this video. Again, follow me on Instagram at _RedShawty, 2 Y's. Follow me on Twitter at _Mickey with 3 K's. And yeah, it's a wrap. Y'all stay safe out here in these streets, man. But yeah, stay true to you, and yeah, love y'all. Yeah, bye.